Good evening, everyone. Today is Saturday, June 11th, 2022. It is about 5:18 p.m. here on this Saturday in Cleveland, Ohio. Right now we're at the corner of, I'll only put it on selfie mode for a second. We're at the corner of, can you see the street signs? No, I don't think I have them in the picture, but we're at Fidelity, and West Blvd. You can see this guy over here. He's got the right setup for riding a bike, right? Three-wheeler with a kid on the backside. But yeah, we're at West Blvd and Fidelity, and the plan here is to go down to Edgewater Park and explore some of the bicycle trails. So I have my chest mount on, and I'll set that up and then I'll resume the video here. Alright, I have the camera attached to my chest mount now, so you can begin riding here. Now the start of this ride is going to be a bit bumpy. The weather, by the way, I don't think I mentioned it, it's very nice. It's cloudy, so the sun's not going to be too much of a factor in terms of overheating. And it's about 73 degrees. We're approaching Elmira here as there's a vehicle coming in. Yeah, so we'll wait for this light to change here. This is Elmira and West Blvd. And like I said, we're going to go down West Blvd. It's going to be a little bit before we get to Edgewater Park. So we'll pass Lorraine Avenue on our way there. We'll pass Madison Avenue, several other streets. Yeah, I always say for West Blvd, some of these sidewalks are pretty terrible. Houses are nice though. And then when we get past Lorraine Avenue, there ends up being a lot of trees that form a nice canopy of shade across both sides of the boulevard. I remember once before someone on my channel commented and thought it would be nice to see that. So hopefully the video is able to pick that up on this ride. If you hear any clanking while I'm on these bumpy sidewalks, that's just my heavy-duty bike lock that I have on my bicycle. There may be certain spots where I pause and take the camera off of my chest mount in order to walk with my bike and show a little bit of a certain area. Like I'm thinking of before I start on the bike trail at Edgewater. I'm thinking of going along one of the streets nearby that supposedly have a lot of wealthy houses on it. St. Ignatius Church is on the left side. I know based on the angle of my camera, you probably can't see it right now. There's a CVS on the right side here. One thing to note about this CVS, I'd say like 75% of the time when I come by it, at least during the morning or in the evening, when I'm either going to work or from work, there are like random people just hanging around that are kind of suspect looking. Which you don't see much of on the rest of West Blvd. Here I can briefly show St. Ignatius Church here. And this is Lorraine Avenue. So if we went to the left, that would be going westbound. And then if you go to the right, That's of course eastbound. But if you're thinking of street numbers, West Boulevard is right next to West 100th Street. So if I went one street over to the right, that'd be West 100th. And if I went one street over to the left, I believe that would be West 101st Street. Now the cars here should get the turn lane first, ahead of me. Believe it or not, I have witnessed several accidents at this intersection before, including one where I saw a bicyclist get hit, just like this guy wants to do here. See, this part of West Boulevard, before you get to the bridge, already begins some of the trees I was referencing. You know, with how bumpy this is, I'm thinking of, after I get past the bridge, I might take my lock off of the bicycle and put it in my backpack, because I'm getting a little tired of hearing the clanking. I know many years ago, I believe this used to be a cut-through street and they converted it, and now it's just a sidewalk path. But yeah, I'm going to, before I continue, I'm going to take my lock off and throw it in my backpack, just so the video sounds a little bit better. Okay, put the lock away, so let's carry on. They're much quieter now. So you can see the trees lining the street on both sides of the boulevard. Now, of course, today's not a sunny day, so you can't see the comparison of how much shade it provides, but if you were walking on a sunny day, it does provide some nice relief. This is Western Avenue that we're passing up right now. If I went a few streets eastward from where I'm at right now, you would be running into the old West Tech High School, which has been converted into, not sure if I want to call them apartments or condominiums. I was in that building at least once when they did a reunion. I didn't go there, but it was still nice to see the inside of the building and hear some stories about it. I believe that was for their 100th year anniversary. See how every house has like two of these, well, at least one, but sometimes two or three of these big trees that all have the same type of texture on the bark. I don't know how to describe it. It's nice that these trees are still lasting. Unfortunately, the street that I live on, almost, compared to when I grew up, almost all the trees have had to be torn down because the city claimed that they outlived their lifespan. Thank you. I still plan on one of these days doing just a regular walk down this part of West Blvd that I'm riding down right now, because although I'm sure the video is picking up the trees, it's probably not capturing the houses and the architecture of them. Not that the houses are super fancy in architecture, but they're not cookie cutter type of houses. They've got a unique flavor to them. I used to walk sometimes from the West Blvd RTA rapid station to Lorraine Avenue, and I would only do that in circumstances if I looked at the bus schedule and saw that the former 81 bus, which is now the 18 bus, if I could see that the bus wasn't going to come for another 35 minutes or longer, then I would say, all right, I'm just going to walk it. And walking from West Blvd Rapid Station to Lorraine Avenue if I did a decent fast walk, it'd probably be about 15 to 18 minutes. There were a handful of times where I actually jogged it from West Blvd to Lorraine Avenue. I think I got it in like 5 minutes once. Well, that was more than a jog. It was probably a run. This is Madison now. You can see the sign there for Cleveland Metro Park's Edgewater. There's another CVS. I always found that kind of funny how West Blvd and not too far from each other at Lorraine and then Madison, there's CVS's on both corners. This is Cadell Recreation Center right here, where the infamous shooting happened many years ago involving Tamir Rice. Up ahead is Detroit Avenue and the West Blvd Rapid Station. So if you take the Rapid, this is one of the stations that you can get off at, and the 18 bus, the 26 bus, and I don't think the 25 comes down here anymore, but at least those ones do. I'm trying to think how I want to do this. Let's see, I could go right over the bridge or make a left. Thinking after some of these cars pass, I'm going to go left. Yeah, and then I will cross over to the Rapid Station side. I've never been to this Italian restaurant, but I've always been intrigued by it, by the decorations outside of it. I think it's called Palazzo. I believe that's what the signage says. Maybe one of these days I'll try it out. Let's see if we're still looking straight here on the gimbal. Yeah, it looks pretty centered. I remember over a year ago we had a kind of a crazy incident. Me and my family were waiting for I believe it was still called the 81 bus at the time, and we were wanting to get on, and this guy just started going belligerent at the station, and he was punching the bus window on the outside. He took a trash can and like kicked it, and then I believe he picked it up and threw the trash can. And he was just like yelling random things. Usually the key at these rapid stations is number one, just try to mind your own business. And number two, if you do see something that seems a little off, just wait somewhere away from them, if possible. So we just came off of West Blvd. You have to go a little bit down here on Detroit. This is a terrible downward angle here. This is a pretty bad dip here too. But once you go about, I don't know, what was that? Kind of like one street over, you do resume West Blvd right here. And this is always the area when people ask me, oh, how's this neighborhood? I just say from Madison up until this next underpass. I forget what street it is. I'll see when we get up there. I would say that's the area where I generally don't feel it's the safest. Just my perception. But then the rest of the areas north and south of that, I feel pretty good about. They don't have a handicap accessible sidewalk there. And this bridge is not in the best, or underpath, not in the cleanest condition, so I'm going to get up and walk just a short distance. So anytime I see something like this, even if my bike tires can handle it perfectly fine, just like to get up and walk it for a bit. Yeah, this is Baltic Avenue coming up. There are bike lanes, I should mention. There are technically bike lanes in West Blvd. The one going south, which is right next to me on the right here, is a dedicated bike lane, but the one going north is initially shared, then over there it turns into a dedicated lane. But I don't know, I'm just one of those areas where I'm still kind of, there's no traffic coming either way on Baltic. I still am hesitant to use bike lanes on streets where I've seen experiences where the traffic can get a little bit out of hand. I'd rather just go on the sidewalk. We're actually really close to Edgewater Park now. Clifton is the next main intersection.
She's psychotic, bro.
She's psychotic. Sorry, I don't know how much this thing picks up other people's conversations, but that's what that guy was yelling into his phone as I was passing him. Since this is going to be on Clifton, you can see the nice Cleveland State bus shelters that are along Clifton. And I just missed pressing the button, but I think I should have enough time to go here. You see this house here has some flags dedicated to Ukraine. Some unique gold-colored decorations. So this is Lake with Edgewater Park just ahead. But before we go into Edgewater Park, I was thinking of checking out one of those side streets. I may have to pause the video to look at Google Maps, make sure I'm going the right way. So here, the do not enter sign is ahead, but I'm gonna go ahead and look at Google Maps and make sure I'm going the right way. Hey, look, a limousine. Is anyone famous in it? Maybe it's just a wedding limo. All right, I verified on Google Maps. Edgewater, the street, is up ahead here, so I can make a left on there. And then after I make a left, it'll help me loop around so we can look at some of these nice looking houses. I have a fellow bicyclist over here. That's a small looking bike. Look at the tires on that thing. Very curious to know how that rides. All right, but here is the start of Edgewater. So this will actually be nice before I go on the other street. We can look at parts of Edgewater. Stopping to take a picture at certain points. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to unscrew, bear with me here, my gimbal. Okay. Plug my charger in and take it off tilt locked mode. Okay, now I'm gonna walk, because I figure if I'm doing this, people would probably appreciate seeing some of the houses that are here as opposed to just the sidewalks and the trees. And it's nice on both sides of the street in terms of the houses. I did not look up on Zillow ahead of time how much these houses cost. And just to show these trees, they're all nice, tall, still full. Nice American flag covering the entranceway there. Now this would probably be a video in itself one day, or maybe I'll get off and go down the entire street of Edgewater, but for now I was going to cut down Cliff Drive, which is going up to the right here. So Cliff Drive goes down both sides of the street, to the left and then also to the right. And then Lake Erie is just off beyond all that greenery over there. I'm actually gonna ride up the hill because this is a no outlet. This is interesting. I've never tried doing this where I ride while holding the camera in my hand. Yeah, the reason I was riding upward here is because rather than showing it both ways, I just quickly get up to the end here and then turn around. You even get a nice shot downtown Cleveland from here. We'll get much more shots once we get further on back toward the Edgewater Trail. You can see the boats are out and about. But then look at these beautiful looking houses. Now some of them aren't, not to be critical at all. Like, I feel like those ones, that one down there looks the nicest. This one here, I'm sure it's very nice, but it almost looks like a business building to me. This one kind of looks plain in terms of the color scheme. Very giant windows. I would hate having giant windows like that. And then nice house there. I believe when I looked on Google Maps that some of the bigger houses were on the other side of Cliff once we get back to the V down here. Speaking of which, I will get back on and ride a little bit. See this house up on a little bit of a hill on Cliff Drive, but I like it's unique because it's got the brick. It's not a huge looking house, but it still has like almost a spiral architecture there. I wonder if it has a huge basement or something that goes downward into the ground. Or if it truly is just a one level home. as we're coming around this corner, get to see downtown Cleveland. So if you live in any of these houses, look out your window toward the right, get a great shot of the city. This is the one that always stands out on Google Maps when you look at it. The statues, the huge American flag. We'll go ahead and take a picture of this one. Forgive me if anyone's getting impatient and looking for the bike ride portion, but I will get back to the trail. This is sort of a hybrid video. We're doing some trail exploring, but also some walking around. See the lions guarding the gates with the sunflowers and yellow ribbons attached to them. This is probably the most expensive house on the street if I had to guess. Someone sounds like they're shooting off fireworks a little bit nearby. I wonder if any of them are shooting them off from a boat. Since we're getting near the corner here, let me go back up onto the street level, or the sidewalk level. Houses are a little bit harder to see now because they're up on a hill. So down here there are shrubbery. Looks like there's a railing there. Like this used to be a staircase to go up, but now it's been covered over. Ooh. Okay, let me get back on the bike. I'm going to reattach this to my chest and then continue the video in a second. Alright, we're set back up on the chest mount. We're still on the ending of Cliff Drive, but we're circling back to where we started this little detour on Edgewater. Up here we're going to cross the intersection going left. See where those bikers are up ahead though? They're taking the trail, but I am going to go up here first on the left. So if you wanted to go to downtown Cleveland, this isn't the direction you would take, but I want to show a little bit of the trail in Edgewater. See, someone has a cool hammock set up between these two trees. The reason I'm coming this way first is I just wanted to show where the Cleveland script sign is. I believe there's like 5 or 6 of them. I know they added one near the queue, so I'm not sure if that's an official one now or if they'll eventually remove that. That was put there for the All-Star game. You may have seen the Cleveland script sign as I was riding up. One nice thing about riding through here is you get to see how much activities in Edgewater Park. I mean, there's not enough traffic parking spaces. That's why cars end up using the street, or sorry, the grass. But now if I make a left right here, this will get us more direct access to the Cleveland script sign. Surprisingly, no one's at it right now. Maybe this guy in the scooter is heading that way. Yeah, this is where the Cleveland script sign is. See the sign there with downtown Cleveland in the background and the beach. That's why this is often one of the most picturesque opportunities in all of Cleveland. Whether you're a local or a tourist, people love seeing this shot here. Because nothing beats seeing the Cleveland sign, the green grass, the trees, but then you also have the water, the beach, the city skyline, the sky. It's like the ultimate encapsulation of everything possible. I'm just gonna stay here for a second and snap a picture after they're finished. Yeah, before I go on the trail, I'll probably ride a little bit through the area. Alright, I'm going to snap one selfie shot of myself here. Now you've got more people lining up for the selfie shot. I just happened to time it up right. Yeah, anywhere you look here. I mean, even this is a great view. Let me zoom in just in case. Maybe that'll help put the downtown skyline in better perspective. Now, there's actually two paths that you could take. You can see right here, I can make a left, and that would go down eventually by the hill that takes you right up against the beach. Or if I make a right and keep going that way, it takes you to more of the traditional spot where the bike trail is. Thinking I'll actually just go on the right side here, because I can stop and pan my camera to the left if I want to show more of the beach area eventually. Now I know I'm not quite on the bike trail portion that I want to be at. The bike trail that I'm thinking of is more to the right. So there's actually like 3 trails here in Edgewater. This is the middle one. But I think if I keep riding this middle one, it'll eventually hook up with the one that I'm talking about. There's a nice jungle gym on the left for the kids, and I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's relatively new. Yeah, it says the Lindsay Family Play Space. I'm riding slowly just because I don't want to run into any of the people walking. There are bike places to lock your bikes throughout the park. I'm trying to think if I want to get to that outside bike path. I think I want to detour over here through the parking lot. I'm looking both ways, don't see any traffic coming. Yeah, this is the path that I was thinking of. There is a path down there that would take you, I think, toward Lake Avenue if you want to go there. Now you can see here the sign, Cleveland Lakefront Bikeway, Edgewater Park. I'm going to let some of these bikers pass me up. So this is the Upper Edgewater West shelter on the left, along with the restrooms. So some people, I don't know if you have to rent it out to reserve the space or not. You see several parties going on. That one, it says congrats grad on the left, so there's a graduation party. Appears to be, I'm going to assume, a baby shower also on the left, because I see a lot of pink and blue balloons. Oh God, this one's killing me. They're using the grill and I can smell the food from over here. And that's where the grill is. I can see the smoke coming off, smell it. You almost want to just run up there and say, hey, how much for whatever you're cooking? Here's the swing set. Now that middle pathway that I was on would have merged with the left side of the path, which is over on the left. I believe that one seems like a steeper hill to me. This one is also a steep hill. Now walkers can use this path too, but I feel like this is more meant for bicyclists. As you can see, the beach coming into view. This hill, this is actually the first time I've ridden down this hill. Every time I ride it, it's when I'm going back from downtown Cleveland and I have to go up the hill, which is quite a workout. And on the left side is all of Edgewater Beach. I wish I could show it, but I don't want to stop. In case someone's flying behind me, it's not a good idea to stop in the middle of this path, but I will show it down at the bottom here. And I'll probably get up and walk for a little bit here in Edgewater. Yeah, see, the sign even says slow because the trails are merging. let me turn to the left here. So this is the other path we could have come down, but let me get up and unscrew the gimbal here. I'm calling it a gimbal, I mean my DJI Pocket 2. So the Cleveland script sign that we were at just a few minutes ago is right up there way in the background, and we were looking down this way. You can see some people playing volleyball. The sign for watching out for the rip currents. And then all the way over there, that tree, that green one right there, I forget exactly what it's called, but that's like the most famous tree in all of Cleveland from its uniqueness and just, I don't know, just an iconic sight. Let me back my bike up and start walking a little. So this will be another spot where I'm going to walk. I'd actually thought about attempting a live stream through Edgewater Park. Maybe I should try that, I don't know. I could always come back to this spot. You know what I'll do? I'll walk through first on this pre-recorded video just in case. And then I'll decide later. There's nice swings on the right. This is a new, well, relatively new structure. It's been here for quite a few years already. There's more restrooms over here on the right. I think there's also a place to get some food. There's an upper deck bar. As you can see, there's Aspen's Canine Creamery. This is probably the biggest parking lot in Edgewater. And this path here, you can ride on it as a bicyclist. Right now, just to be able to take my time and show the area. Just doing it while walking. This is the big open grass area. We could see people like kicking soccer balls. I remember way back when I was a little kid, I would go here and try to fly a kite. Because that's the most ideal spot to fly a kite, right? When you have a complete open grass, no power lines in the area. I'm trying to think what type of kite that was. I feel like we had one that was from the movie The Mask. There's a different shot of the beach. Try to snap a shot of that.
That blue one that looks like to me?
Here's the unique tree everyone loves. Right next to the exercise equipment for the fitness trail, bench leg raise. I'll go ahead and park my bike here for a second while I get a better perspective shot of this. I'm going to check out of curiosity what my live stream signal would be. Perhaps I would try one here. So I'm going to stop this video for a second and see, let's see if I resume it here or somewhere else. So for future reference, I tested the signal and it was extremely strong. So that's good to know if I want to do a live stream in the future, but I think I want to stick to task and make sure I get enough of the bike riding portion in. And then maybe do just a true live stream one day at Edgewater. Maybe when I don't have the bicycle with me. Because I could probably get off like the Cleveland state line near Edgewater Park around evening time one day and just start walking around here without having to worry about lugging the bicycle. So now I'm going back where I just came from. Again, slowly initially because I don't want to run into anyone. Edgewater Beach House, that's what they called this structure on the right. If you took that path over there, it says it takes you near Gordon Square, that little bridge that goes upward. There's also a bike shelter here on the right where you could park your bikes. But now we're back on what I would call the bike trail. We'll show you in a second where there's two different paths you can take. Kind of like a fork in the road. And you can either go to the left, which would take you by Whiskey Island, or to the right, which will take you to West 65th, but not just West 65th, there's actually a bike trail that runs along the highway. And that's the one I've taken many a times, and I'm planning on taking to start off this video. I'm actually thinking, because if I do it creatively and I take it all the way down to downtown, there's something I can show that eventually would loop back around to Whiskey Island from downtown, and it could technically come all the way back to Edgewater. Now, that's what I'm contemplating in my head. So if I went over there toward, there's like a semicircle, it may be hard to see here, but if I went there and continued going that way, that would take me to the Whiskey Island bike trail. Otherwise, you just stick to the right side here. Yeah, so from here you could either make a left or the right. I'm gonna go to the right. The sign will say Edgewater Park exit, taking you to the Detroit Shoreway neighborhood and also Gordon Square or the Arts District. Underneath this bridge, if you make the right, that's where it takes you more to Gordon Square. The left side gets you to the Lakefront Bikeway. So if you're thinking to yourself, where do I go from Edgewater to get to downtown Cleveland? That's the path that I'm showing right now. This part here is lit up nicely at nighttime. Before I continue, I want to show on the right side here, there's actually some artwork representing the neighborhood. Looks like it was made by Colleen Frazier in 2004. Up there's a map. The red star shows you are here. The green is Edgewater Park, and then the nearby streets. And some of these show the buildings that are in the area. There's the Cleveland Public Theater. I think that's the only one that has a label, unfortunately. I assume that one of these might be like St. Coleman, but I'm not positive. One of them is probably a library of some kind. But yeah, it's some nice artwork. I did read before that, unfortunately, some of the it's hard to describe what this is. It's like a mural, but it's made out of almost like those bathroom tiles that you would see. You can see it's been chipping away at the bottom. So yeah, hopefully they can fix that at some point in the future. So let's continue the bike trail now. I lost my momentum going uphill. I didn't know this before either. There's actually more of this artwork with two bicyclists. All the times I've ridden, I never recognized that part. If you took a right here, that would be, pretty sure that's West 65th Street. Going behind these buildings, which is newer housing developments. The bike trail resumes tucked away behind them. There's a little bench there on the left. I think the first time that I took this trail was a year and a half ago during the pandemic, like a few months after it had first started, because all offices were all mostly closed in downtown Cleveland. So I had been working remotely, but there was one day where I just kind of got tired of working remotely and I wanted to ride to downtown Cleveland. Typically in the past, anytime I had ridden to downtown Cleveland, I just went down Franklin Avenue all the way toward maybe West 30th Street, and then I would cut over to Detroit and take the Detroit Superior Bridge. But then before I left that day, I said, let me check if there's any, bike paths that maybe I'm just not aware of. And that's when I saw this. And it wasn't like brand new, like it hadn't just been done, but I'm pretty sure it was still relatively new as far as my lifespan goes. So yeah, when I ended up taking the route, including behind those houses, I was like, I didn't even know those living spaces were there. I was just blown away by this whole trail. This initial part is downhill where you can just coast down. And then this is where you start the uphill part. I might stop for a second over here because there's a giant telescope that I always see, but I've never stopped for it because I always would tell myself I'll stop for it one day when I'm doing a live stream. I assume that it's like a telescope. The grass isn't quite cut in front of the scope, but let's see. I don't even know how to use this thing. I don't know, it's weird. I mean, I could put my... Yeah, it's not going to come up on the camera. You can put your head through it and look, but it's just a hollow. I probably don't understand what it is. It's probably something more specific. I thought it was going to be like a telescope of some kind. Now I lost again my momentum going uphill. Yeah, but I loved taking this trail to going to downtown because if you're on Franklin, you're just taking bumpy sidewalks or seeing the houses on both sides of the street. When you're doing this path, you get to see the greenery, nicely kept trail, smooth, but then you're also like staring at the skyline of downtown Cleveland the whole time you're riding, which is a nice sight to see. Right now we're about at West 49th Street and Hermann. After you cross this bridge, and then a little bit forward, the trail is actually going to be running alongside the highway. The Cleveland Soapbox Derby would be on the left. Here's Cleveland Water Shipyard. I assume that's water towers probably for it too. Max Hayes used to be on the right side over there, but now they tore Max Hayes down, moved it up toward, I believe, Clark and 65th. Now it's Garrett Morgan High School that they completely built from the ground up. And then my brother always loves this little area here as both a resting spot and place to just start snapping some pictures of the skyline again. And there's some signage here. You can see for all right, I gotta adjust my camera here. Cleveland's first waterworks, along with some history. Some of the industrial parts of Cleveland in the background. See a label for Cargill there. More signage for water treatment. Quite a bit of green grass down there too. Oh, wait a minute. So are all these things really related to water? I didn't know that. I thought they were like different things. So it's saying like number 1 is on that map. Raw water drawn through screens, approximately 3.5 miles offshore, is carried to the by tunnel to the plant. Then number 2 next to it, raw water pump station. Number 3 over there, a chemical building, and then other areas. Number 8, treated water from the reservoir into the pump station. That's the place on the far left here. Oh, so that's neat. I never knew they had a description of all these things, and that all these things were all related to water treatment. And there's also some benches here, say if you wanted to just stop and get a drink of water. Plenty of seating areas. So anyone who jogs this path or takes a bike, it's like a great stopping point. Over there is the Harp Pub and Restaurant. Now obviously you don't want to cross the highway over here. You would have had to have crossed back over there by Hermann, because the next spot you're going to get to safely cross is pretty much West 25th Street. So let me put this back in tilt locked mode. Anytime I start riding the bike, I put it in tilt locked mode, because then it knows to keep the camera straight even if I'm hitting bumps along the way. So you've got the highway here, but then over there on the right side where you see those buildings, that's part of Detroit Avenue. Looks like some car had a small accident. See, this is where you want to be careful, because I don't want to, even though that looks pretty flimsy, I don't want to be riding. I thought that car for sure was gonna whip into it. Yeah, I don't want to be riding here and a car runs into it and then ends up flying up here and doing some damage to me. So the highway, like I said, is along the right here, but once you get right here, let this biker pass me by. once you get to this spot, you start going downward toward West 25th Street. I assume that guy probably lives over there somewhere in one of those places. He's detoured across the grass. This is an area on the left side where I wouldn't necessarily walk just by myself. Like, I would not do a live stream here if I was just on the bicycle, or sorry, without the bicycle. But now you make a right, which if I went one block further, it would take me up to Detroit Avenue. Speaking of which, one of these days I'm going to feature that whole area in a live stream video because it's very nicely renovated. But if I turn left here, got some nice murals painted on the left side. All these housing areas on the right are new within the past few years, which has really revitalized this corner downtown, just outside of downtown Cleveland. Otherwise, it used to be a relative ghost town and didn't feel like a safe area at all. But the transformation in West 25th Detroit area has been pretty incredible. Now, if I wanted to go to downtown Cleveland, I would make a slight right after I cross, and then that would be the Detroit Superior Bridge. But instead of going to downtown Cleveland, what I want to do is show off more of the bike trail system in Cleveland. And this next part up here is something I have never ridden on in my life before. The part I just rode on, I've ridden, it's probably like the 10th time I've ridden it. This next part will be completely new territory for me. St. Malachi's Catholic Church is on the left. This is one of the, I do have in my mind a lot of intersections down pat in my head as far as when they're going to change, but this is one of them where I haven't mastered it yet. So I just got to wait it out and see. I see the light on my left is changing yellow, so maybe that'll be my cue to go, even though these cars are all turning. I got the jump on it. The grass is a little bit overgrown here. They have fencing up on the right as if they're going to be developing something here. That might be a new complex going up in the future. Let's see what the best street to take is here. So no traffic's coming behind me. Up here on West 24th Street, I'm going to make a right down the one-way portion. And believe it or not, this is after I go right, it's going to take me to a Detroit Avenue again. So I never knew Detroit extended beyond the West 25th Street area. And then if I make a slight left here, I know it may look like, where the heck is he going? But then look at this. See where this yellow sign is about the pathway? Here we go. So this is the Cleveland Foundation Centennial Lake Link part of the trail. Actually, let me clean the lens on my camera. It's looking a little... Yeah, there we go. It looks better now. And then behind me is actually a shot of the Detroit Superior Bridge from down below. Let me get off my bike and show that. This is underneath the Detroit Superior Bridge that it could have taken to get into downtown Cleveland. There's sort of a small looking bike path over there, but I'm not quite sure. I don't think it goes very far. But we're gonna go this direction in a second. So here goes nothing. Again, this is the first time I've taken this part of the trail. And this is supposed to be the alternative way to get to Whiskey Island. I love how many different bike paths there are in Cleveland, especially surrounding the downtown area. I'm sure people who bike know these trails pretty well, but in my mind I have a feeling that a lot of people don't know that all of these exist. Oh, there's mulberries on the left here. See, I had no idea there was even a bar restaurant area here, along with volleyball nets and sand that were on the right. So if you want some salt, go ahead and grab it, right? A bunch of salt mounds. When you look on Google Maps, Google Maps does not indicate that the green line goes past this, but clearly you can see the bike trail has been developed here. So this is another portion that is relatively new. Uh-oh, where is there a ship? Is this bridge raised or something? Oh, yep, I see the red things are down. And there's a boat coming underneath it, a little boat. Oh, this is great. Look at the timing of this. I get to show the bridge raising. Oh, so this bridge just goes straight up with like a pulley system, almost like an elevator lift. Now it's just a small, like, tour looking boat that was going by. I wonder how long this is gonna take. They're raising it like all the way. I wonder if it's a thing where they can't control how high it goes. Like, you know, where they can only lift it a little bit. Maybe it's all or nothing. Like it has to go all the way to the top before coming back down. Oh, now I see there's another boat coming. Maybe that's why. There's actually several boats coming by. Again, smaller variety. That one says Brew Boat Cleveland. Oh, so that must be one of those, now I know what it is. It's one of those boats where you can drink beer as it's going by. Bridge is still ever so slightly going up. Alright, since I don't know how long it's going to be, I'll pause this video and continue it when that part is finished with. Alright, the bridge is beginning to lower back down. I don't know how long it takes for, once it's all the way back down, for them to clear it for these walkways and driveways to allow traffic to pass through. I see people on the other side waiting now. Written all over the ground, it says walk your bike. Yeah, I'm not going to ride it over this portion, and it's going to get pretty narrow. It's probably at the halfway point. Hopefully people can still get by. Alright, it looks like the bridge is in place now. Let's see. Alright, got the green light now. In hindsight, I wonder why they needed to raise the bridge, because I saw one boat pass underneath after the bridge had already lowered back down, and all three of the boats that I saw pass seemed like they could have fit pretty easily. Now up here I'm going to stop and go to the right side.
Sorry, thank you.
Oh, you're fine. Uh-huh. Oh, there's another boat coming. I assume the person who monitors it is in this little station on the right here. I wish they would build a connection where you could go to the Flats East Bank, which is over there. Can you see? Yeah, the gate's kind of blocking the way, but the Flats East Bank, where there's a bunch of nice restaurants, is located over there. Now the water is there, but I don't know, it'd be nice to do a little pathway similar to this one here, which we can start riding up now. Oh, there goes the bridge again. There's a nice sign for the Whiskey Island Wendy Park Bridge. See how they have a bird there and then birds up on the bridge. Let's finish riding over this. Wonder why all these cones are up on the right. Love these signs that are here. I didn't know these existed in the park. There's a perspective of the bridge that we just came over. Now, if I'm not mistaken, if in this fork in the road, if I took a right, that would be the Whiskey Island Trail that I was referencing earlier in Edgewater. So if I go to the right here, that should take me back to Edgewater Park, If I go to the left here, that's going to take us to the historic Coast Guard station. You can even see First Energy Stadium there in the background. Another sign here for river recovery. Oh, is this the story I always hear about when the river got on fire? $1952, approximately $1 million in damage. I didn't know they had this over here, like a fishing type area or seating. There's also a nice fishing sign here. A comeback making a big splash with labels of all the different types of fish. Turn around, and it's always nice to see a perspective shot, because like when I was standing over there you may not have seen it, but look at the unique views of Terminal Tower, Key Tower, the Huntington Building, Port of Cleveland. I'm gonna get a picture without the fence in my way. So I think this is the old Coast Guard station. I've seen unique pictures of it online from when it, from many years ago. And you can see several people setting up their fishing areas over here. Very nice. You can also see some people over there doing some fishing just with beach chairs. checking the maps there for a second. So I believe if I take this bike path, like I said earlier, that it's going to eventually bring me back to Edgewater. So let's go ahead and find out if that's the case. Very interesting. They have a, over here on the right side, Yeah, I gotta pause and show this for sure. It says Whiskey Island Still and Eatery. Looks like a pretty big place where people are can dine. It looks like they've got an indoor section, an outdoor section. I was actually going to comment earlier how like, oh, it's too bad there's no place to eat down here, and then I see this place here. People who have watched my videos before know that's one of my complaints about the lakefront near Brown Stadium. There may be like one little place to eat down there, otherwise there's no food places, and it just seems like a big missed opportunity. I've seen quite a few of those birds that have pretty distinct, they're like black, but they have a red and yellow and white pattern on their wings. This path here looks like it's a bit twisty, turny, just slight curves to it. And where I was coming from is downhill, so right now I'm not having to pedal much. Riding this for the first time, it seems very reminiscent to me of the Red Line Greenway, which is near, it starts near Michael's Own Rec Center on West 65th and Lorraine, and then goes past the West 25th Rapid Station and connects to the bicycle trails kind of near the flats. So there's a stop sign for traffic and the bikes. Now we're going uphill a little bit. Tiny part of the bike trail missing there near the sewer. Speaking of which, I kind of smell distinct sewer smell here. Maybe that makes sense because on the right side it says Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District, Westerly Wastewater Treatment Center. So now it's fun for me too, because I'm getting to connect the dots in my head. The highway that's on my left, I often am on the Cleveland State Line 55 bus when it goes past this area. And I would always think to myself, I wonder how you get over there or what's over there. In my mind, I never thought to myself, oh, there's a portion of the bike trail there. This part isn't completely as separate from the street as the other ones before. They just have these pylons up, although, I still very much like the setup. Speed limit for cars here says 10 miles per hour. Well, that seems a bit faster than 10 miles per hour. I don't know. I'm probably going 9 miles per hour if I had to guess. I actually do have a watch that would measure how fast my miles per hour is going, but instead of timing my bike ride out, I just preferred being able to look down at my watch or look at possible notifications. Oh, that was pretty quick, just like that. Here's that semicircle I was talking about earlier. And then another nice sign for Edgewater Park. So when I took that path that went by West 65th earlier, it was right there. I went underneath that bridge. So essentially you just saw me make a huge circle, but hopefully it helped demonstrate the multiple bike paths that are in the downtown Cleveland area connecting to Edgewater. Speaking of which, I kind of want to run over to this Edgewater Park sign. Let's unscrew this device one more time. Hopefully you enjoyed watching. Boy, look at this vehicle. What the heck is that? Yeah, I don't know what that was. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this video and the tour of the biking area. If you liked it, feel free to hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, give us a subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought of the trails and the whole Edgewater Park area, and we will see you next time.